This is the Solid Signal podcast for the week of August 21st, 2023. And finally, some new DIRECTV hardware to talk about. I'm going to tell you about two new boxes from DIRECTV that just show exactly how serious the company is about competing in the new market. You know, DIRECTV was part of AT&T from about 2015 until 2021. And, you know, AT&T, I think what they really wanted to do was starve out the satellite service and move everybody over to streaming. That really wasn't working at that time. Look, perhaps if they had tried now, it might have felt different. But at the time, people just weren't ready for it. Well, we're finally seeing some new hardware under the DIRECTV name. This is the first new streaming hardware in about 3 years and the first new satellite receiver since 2015, which is really incredible. And I want to tell you a little bit about both of them. The first is the DIRECTV Gemini Air. Gemini Air, you've probably heard about it if you're a DIRECTV fan, because it was about the worst kept secret in the world while it was in supposedly closed testing. They went to, I think, their user groups and stuff like that for some closed testing. It didn't really work out for them because everything just immediately leaked out online, unfortunately. So a lot of the details were already known. Gemini Air is the second generation of the box for DIRECTV for internet. That's right, it's streaming only. This is not a satellite product. It's about the size of a Chromecast, and it does everything that the larger Gemini does, except for it does not have wired Ethernet, and it does not work with infrared remotes. Other than that, it's really pretty good. It's got improved Wi-Fi performance, so they say, compared to the original Gemini, and it's nice and small. It'll hide behind the TV, and I think it's going to be a big hit for those folks who want DIRECTV internet. But as I said, that's not really news because it's been out there for a while. But the news, starting today, the embargo is off, the gloves are off, and I can tell you all about the new DIRECTV H26K commercial receiver. This is a receiver that businesses have been waiting for. And let me be completely clear, this is a receiver only for businesses. Regular residential customers cannot get this. It's not that the hardware wouldn't support it, but it cannot be done in DIRECTV's systems. You know, one sort of legacy of the AT&T days is that they still kind of want to have everything be relatively simple. And when it comes to residential customers, they don't want to give them a lot of choices. Residential customers who really want a receiver only can still get the H24 or H25, but the H26K is reserved just for business customers. It's a great little box. It's smaller than an H25, does everything an H25 will do. It will do it faster, it will do it more reliably, and it has both 4K and the new user interface, which has been standard on DIRECTV hardware for home since 2018. So why do it now and why commercial? That's the real question. And you might be asking yourself, you know, nobody suffered more during the AT&T regime than DIRECTV's commercial customers. They were strangled almost out of existence, given almost no resources and no time from the company. And the dealers who dealt with commercial customers had a tough time of it, a tough time convincing anybody at AT&T to listen to how important these customers are. Well, this couldn't be coming at a better time now, because DIRECTV has, as you probably know, retained rights to NFL Sunday Ticket for business customers. You know, I think it's a shame that Google picked it up from DIRECTV, but I guess they were willing to pay what the league wanted to charge. DIRECTV wasn't. It would have been a money loser for them, I think. But when it comes to businesses and the way that businesses get charged, it's a different situation. And it really makes a lot more sense to have that be a satellite product, since businesses can't really stream a lot of stuff anyway. But the combination of this new receiver and NFL Sunday Ticket coming this fall, you can order it now from your DIRECTV commercial dealer, means that DIRECTV commercial is back. You're going to see more of a push for DIRECTV going into hotels, DIRECTV going to businesses, DIRECTV going into bars and restaurants, and of course, RVs and boats, which is where the Signal Group has really excelled over and over again in past years. I had a really good time testing the H26K receiver. I hadn't done a receiver test, well, honestly, in a long time. Because let's be honest, there was nothing to test. There was a while back in the late 2000s and early 2010s when I was getting more receivers than I knew what to do with. I ran out of TVs to put receivers on. I had 2 or 3 receivers on each TV just so that I could test them. Those days are long gone, and it's been a long time since I had something to play with. You can find out an awful lot more about both of these boxes, the Gemini Air and the H26K commercial receiver, by going to solidsignal.com, where they're both available. The Gemini Air is available from solidsignal.com. It's the same terms that you would get if you ordered it from DIRECTV. You're just getting it from solidsignal.com and supporting local jobs when you do it. It's still set for self-activation. It's still something that you can do all by yourself, install it all by yourself, and works exactly the same as the existing Gemini. When it comes to the H26K, commercial DIRECTV dealers like Solid Signal are the only places that you can get this receiver, and you want to go to solidsignals.com to get your H26K commercial receiver. If you've been on the fence, just kind of nursing along, an H21, H23, H24, H25, something that old, you really want to replace it. It is time. You want to get a brand new box. Look, folks, I don't work at DIRECTV, so I'm not in their warehouses. I can't make guarantees, but considering this is an all new box, I can't imagine how there would be any refurbs in the pipeline at all. So your chances of getting a new DIRECTV box are better than they've been in about 12 years. Go ahead and get this box. You will not regret it. It is the box, like I said, that you have been waiting for while you've been nursing that older one, kind of hoping it would just hold out another day. Now, if you want to know really kind of the deep dive into this stuff, go to the Solid Signal blog, blog.solidsignal.com, and go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/solidsignalcom. The review of the Gemini Air is already up, and the review of the H26K will post on Tuesday, August 22nd. It's really in-depth stuff. I do nice long videos and reviews of both of these things. All your questions can be answered, and if not, just leave comments anywhere that you need to after this podcast or at these articles, at Solid Signal blog, anywhere that you need. And if you get my attention, I will do my best to answer those questions for you, as always. That's it for this podcast for this week. I hope you have a great week. I hope it's a nice sunshiny one, and that if any rains that have been plaguing you over the weekend have been swept away, leaving nothing but happy, shiny, sunny days. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, leave a comment anywhere you get this podcast. Makes me look good to my bosses. And I will see you again next week for an all-new episode. Until then, have a great one.